Okay, let's start.
Uh,
That's fine.
Start?
Yeah, started.
Hi, this is S2S Network, and today we have our first live event with Nina Reinecke from TU Berlin, and yeah, and okay, I think we can start the session now. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Nina, you can start with the questions.
Oh, that was the 2-minute introduction.
Okay. Sorry.
That was very short, 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking what to say. Yeah.
Okay, I got your questions and I tried to group them into different topics which had kind of similar or identical questions. So I will just go through them and try to answer them. And I guess while I'm trying to answer, you can write down questions or try to remember, and then you can ask me once I'm done explaining, right? This might be a good idea. So I start with the easy stuff first because it's very quick to answer. Someone asked about the possibility of taking German classes at the university. And yes, there are German classes that you can take from beginners to absolute expert, but they are not free. So they are not free and they are also not part of our curriculum. So they wouldn't show up on your transcript. You can take them on your own and on your own free time. But you would basically be taking them for fun. And the best way to take German lessons here is something which is also organized by students. And I posted the link somewhere on Yammer, and I could look it up and move it up as an easier reminder for you to find it. It's established by students, and they find the teachers, and it's a lot cheaper than average German classes that you can find in the city. And there are also intensive classes right before the semester starts. So if you are here early, you could take part in these German classes. But you don't have to speak German to live in Berlin. Everyone here speaks English, and it's very easy to just have a normal daily life without having to speak German at all. So I guess that covered the question on German classes. Someone asked a very detailed question about visa stuff, like moving to Berlin with a residence permit for Sweden and then getting a German visa but going to Sweden first. And detailed questions like that, I have to admit I cannot answer, because even if I now Google a reply, which in the end might not be true, no one is helped if I tell you something that I think might be true. So the best way or the best idea for visa-related questions or residence permit-related question would always be to contact the embassies involved. So in case of the guy with the really, really long question about the Swedish residence permit thing, I'd recommend contacting both the Swedish embassy and the German embassy in Stockholm to make sure that this can be done the way he suggested it might be done. And most of the other questions you guys have dealt with daily life at the university. So there are different parts. One basically deals with the internships, then PhD and work opportunities here, and some stuff about entrepreneurial things like who could support you or how can non-EU people start a company here. I think I start with the general question about life at the university. One asked if there's discounted food for students, or if there are any meal plans or something like that. And you're basically on your own when it comes to food. So we have several student cafeterias on campus. So I think there are altogether 5 cafeterias. And the main one has a discount for students. All the other ones have the same price for everyone, and the ones that have the same price for everyone, an average meal is plus minus €4. You can get a nice meal for €3. You can get a really, really nice meal for €5. But usually €4 should be fine. And if you go to the big cafeteria with the discounted price system, then I think €2.50 to €3 would be lunch. But yeah, in other ways, Berlin is a huge city with a really large immigrant population, so you can have all kinds of international food at every corner. And those snacks are usually somewhere between 2 and 3 euro. So that covered the food, which seemed to be important to one person. More people asked about PhD opportunities at TU Berlin, and I think I might have to go into how PhDs in Germany generally work. So PhD positions for IT or computer science people are usually like a job, and you cannot just go there and say, hi, I'm here and I'm doing my PhD now. So you actually have to apply for a job opening, and the job openings usually list in the title that this would be a PhD position. And I also posted the link somewhere on Yammer where to find the job positions offered by TU Berlin, PhD positions included. And if you get a PhD position, they are either half-time, so you work 20 hours a week, or full-time, which would be 40 hours. And then usually while you work on the topic that you can use for your thesis. And the part-time job, which is 20 hours a week, usually would pay you around 1,100 euro a month. And I think a full position when you start out would be 2,000 euro at the end of the month. So taxes and all our weird German insurances are already taken off, and it would leave you with 2,000 euro. And we don't, I think, what goes along with the PhD position is the EIT ICT Labs doctoral school. The doctoral school is not a normal doctoral school like it might be elsewhere, where you actually go to the doctoral school and you will take all your classes there and then you get the PhD in the end. The EIT ICT Labs, sorry, I have to cough. The EIT ICT Labs doctoral school is more like the I&E minor of the master school. So you would basically do your PhD at the regular university following their regular PhD program, and then you can take the doctoral school as an addition to your regular program. And it would also give you extra classes on I&E and marketing and leadership skills and that kind of thing. So the doctoral school is just an extra and not really just an IT program. And closely related to the PhD opportunities here is our work opportunities while you are a student. If you are from outside of the European Union, there will be a restriction in your residence permit, which usually is that non-European students can either work 120 full days a year or 240 part-time days a year. So if you count 120 full days, that's 24 weeks. So that's a lot of work that they allow you to do while you are still studying. And the university offers student positions, but I have to admit that if you don't speak German, it might be really hard to get one of these student positions. They pay 10 euro and 74 cents an hour, but it would be a lot easier if you spoke some German. Also, all our IT people here speak English, and there are usually people there who don't want to speak one word of German. Students are generally required to have at least some working knowledge of it. And the student positions or TEA positions are also offered on the internet, and the link is also somewhere on Yammer, and you could check that out. And when it comes to regular opportunities to work in Berlin, again, most jobs would require some level of German, but if you are into working for a startup, and Berlin has a huge startup scene, then just speaking English would be totally fine, because it's a very international environment, and teams are usually international, and no one would care if all you did was speak English. But I cannot really say anything on how hard it is to find a job around here. I know that we have some students who found work, but I have no clue what kind of channels they use to find this position. So I think we have 2 Indian guys who have a regular student assistant job at the university, and several other people who just work somewhere in Berlin. And not all of them should speak German. So maybe they were lucky, or maybe they just found a way to do it. I think I combine questions about the minor thesis, the final thesis, and the internship, since the master school intends that to be one big package. So our regulations ask you to have 2 supervisors for the master thesis. One of them needs to be a professor from TU Berlin. So writing your thesis outside of Europe would be a little hard. We technically don't ask you to be here in person to write a thesis, but you would have to converse with the supervisors. So whoever asked about doing it outside of Europe, that would require some serious planning and agreeing from the professor to get this done. And from a personal viewpoint, I would not recommend it. If you don't have personal or family problems that would require you to be elsewhere, I don't really see a reason why you should be. And the master school would actually prefer, wow, I see weird stuff on my screen. Anyway, the master school would prefer you to be in Berlin or be at the location of your exit university while writing your thesis. Combined with the thesis is the internship, and the master school, that's not my office, so it's the office in Stockholm, would actually prefer you to do your internship in Germany. And our local regulations actually ask you to write your thesis in cooperation with a company or a non-university, in a non-university environment, and preferably that should be in Berlin or at least within Germany. So doing your internship outside of Germany is possible if the regulations stay the same like they were for the people who are now doing their internship. But same as with the master thesis, it could lead to all kinds of problems if you are not here when you need to talk to the professor, or if you are not here for the minor thesis class. So in our case, the minor thesis will is organized in a class. So our winter semester goes from October till the middle of February, with exams maybe till the middle of March. And then our summer semester, in which you would need to write the thesis, do the internship, and write the minor thesis, starts on the 1st of April. So the minor thesis is currently organized in a class which requires you to be there one day in April and another day in July. And let's just imagine that you went to, whatever, the Netherlands to do your internship. You would need to come back at least for these 2 days, and maybe for other days to talk to the professor. If you think you can organize that and you want to be financially responsible for moving between wherever you are doing your internship in Berlin a couple of times, then this would be possible, but the professor who is supervising your thesis needs to agree to this. So before deciding anything, in your case, I would always talk to the professor. When it comes to the internships, one of you asked how good the internship opportunities are in Berlin. Come on, what do you really expect me to answer to this? Obviously, they are excellent, right? So I think I need to elaborate on that too. Currently, we have 22 students who are doing an internship, and they all got an internship. Some of them are working at T-Labs, which is the innovative part of Deutsche Telekom, and others are working at Fraunhofer, which is a huge research institute in Germany. They were the ones who developed MP3, so it's they might not be known outside of Germany, but whatever they developed is known elsewhere. And this year, we provided addresses and contact information for the people at these companies. So everyone was asked to apply for an internship. We cannot offer you internships on a silver plate that you would be able to pick from, but we offer you a list of contacts and a list of companies that are already aware that they are providing internships to master school students. So it's a little easier than the general population to get an internship there, but it's still on you to apply there and to make sure that you talk to the people you want to do your internship at. So for the 23 people who are currently here, all of them have found an internship. And I haven't heard much complaints about that, but I can just guess how it might be next year. So currently we are working on providing the contacts for the internships in a closed group on Yammer, where only the people who will spend their second year with us will be invited to. So not the whole master school population can have access to these contact data. And we are currently talking to more companies on the higher level. So I will have a date with someone from General Electric tomorrow, and so there will be non-German companies involved which have German offices. So the internship opportunities are broader than they are this year, but it's still on you to apply for a position there. And I think I will close off with the replies to questions about, the entrepreneurial cell in TU Berlin. So that's a quote. I'm not really sure what that's meant by the entrepreneurial cell that we might have, but TU Berlin has the Center for Entrepreneurship, which helps startup companies and students from TU Berlin to develop their ideas. They offer financial as well as, let's call it, moral support, or they offer their expertise to get to get startups off the ground. But I cannot comment on the possibility for non-EU people to start companies. I have no idea. I can answer all your questions about life at the universities, but that would be something I have absolutely no clue about. But the people at the Center for Entrepreneurship could probably help on these matters. So I guess now it's I'll pass the ball back to you if you have questions that are either not on my list or that just came to your mind while I talked.
Thank you so much. So does anyone have some questions?
Oh, that was quick then.
Yeah.
We have one more person in the conversation, but if he has something, he can maybe ask.
Can you? Yeah, let me just go. People are unmute.
How do I?
Just hit that. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So.
And since it's a broadcast, I can't really message him.
Yeah, Nina, one question. I want to ask about the accommodation process. So, TU Berlin will give us the accommodation, or we have to search by ourselves?
We don't provide anyone with accommodation. That's not something any of the Berlin universities do. The universities don't own the dorms. So you are actually on your own. You must have already received our local letter of admission, and with that local letter of admission plus the confirmation that I have paid the local student fees, which I haven't done yet, so you will have to wait until I have. With these two documents, you can apply for a room at one of the dorms. And I know that once you visit the website of the dorms, they are called Studentenwerk Berlin, and the link is in the note on Yammer about accommodation. And once you visit their website, it will tell you that we have really large waiting lists, and it will be 2 years until you find a place to stay. That's not completely true. That's true for the dorms that are most sought after. So there are dorms which are female only, or which are on campus, and they are reserved for Ph.D. students. So for these two, the waiting list is really long. But if you go through the application form, there will be a little box to click on that says, if I can't find a room, or if you don't offer me a room in one of my first 3 priorities, I would take any room. And if you mark that box, you will most likely be offered a room. But I would highly recommend that once you have the confirmation that I paid the fees in your hands, to apply immediately. You will still be able to apply 3 months before the regular student population, because they will start applying in July for dorm rooms starting in October. So you will still be higher up on the list than all the other people, but you should do it when I tell you to. And dorm rooms start at 180 euro a month. I think they are 12 square meters, and you would have to share the kitchen and the bathroom. And it will go upwards from there. And it will be normal that it will might take you an hour to go to campus. So I have 2 degrees from, in total, 3 of the Berlin universities, and it is normal that it takes you that long. It took me an hour to go to class for my first degree, and it still takes me 50 minutes to go to the office. So Berlin is huge. I think the widest spread is about 32 kilometers. So you can imagine that it might take some time if you live in one of the dorms, which is a little further out.
I do have a question. Can I ask?
Sure.
Since I'm not any part of TU Berlin group, I'm going to another university. Is there any possibility that to come and do an internship in Berlin, should I directly contact you or any of the department of EIT ICT labs, or should I contact the professor directly and do the arrangements?
Sorry to disappoint you, but the university does not offer internships. So contacting a professor won't do any good. And since there will be around 40 students in October who will spend their second year at TU Berlin, and we have to make sure that we'll serve these people first, I will refrain from making the contact information of the people who provide internships public. So they will only be for the people who have to do their master's thesis here and who have to do their internship here. So if you want to do your internship in Berlin, you are on your own and you can't really expect help from my office.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I have a question. You already said that you will not give us any correct information about the visa process, but currently actually we are facing a lot of confusion with that process. I want to ask you a question about the visa. If you are able to answer it, I hope you will give the answer. The thing is, can you please give us any approximation time, or how much time you will take to give us some papers that is required to apply for our residence permit in Germany while we were there?
Oh, I have the forms in my office. All I need is to sign them and stamp them.
Okay, so we can expect that when we'll arrive in Berlin, we can take that paper within 1 day and all the necessary papers from TU Berlin in 1 day, and the rest of the process depends only on the German embassy. Is it correct?
Kind of. So if I'm in my office, you can come and pick that paper up, and it will be 10 minutes until you have it. But you have to make sure that you understand who's responsible for what kind of stuff. So you just said that you will take that to the German embassy, and this is not possible. So German embassies are only outside of Germany, and they will deal with visa stuff. If you are here on whatever residence permit you currently have, or you applied for a German visa and you come to Berlin, you can only apply for a residence permit once you are in Germany. So with that piece of paper I can give you, you will have to go to the Foreigners Registration Office. Those are the people who will issue residence permits. And you could go to an office on campus which could do that for you, but they will take your passport away from you, and then it might take up to 5 weeks until you have it back. That's one option, and the other option is that you go with all your documents to the Foreigners Registration Office and then just get it done right there. And I should already warn you now, it probably requires getting up at 3:30 in the morning, standing in line starting at 5 a.m. Then they will open the little machine that gives out numbers at 7. And then you stand there for another 3.5 hours until you're finally in their office, and then there will be some very mean German person trying to pretend that they are not speaking one word of English. But in essence, you would get the residence permit on the same day. So if you have the time, this would be the quickest way. So let's just imagine you're in my office on a Tuesday, you could get the residence permit on Wednesday. If you just get up early and whatever, like join 4 people and have a little party in the waiting line.
And one more thing, well, I'm from ITA, Internet Technology Architecture, and while we are applying for the TU Berlin, we mark that we are applying for ICT innovation. Is that ICT innovation will be our final degree name? And
Yes.
does it influence our the importance of the degree anyhow?
I'm not really sure what you're asking. So the degree certificate will mention.
Technology and architecture. I thought our final degree will be in masters in internet technology and architecture, but we applied.
No. Your final degree will be, or the one that you will get from TU Berlin, will be a Master of Science in ICT Innovation. We aren't sure if we can include your major on it. So it might be that your degree certificate will say that it is a Master of Science in ICT Innovation with an emphasis on ITA. But since we don't even have designed the certificates yet, since we don't have anyone who's done. But this is what we are aiming at. And there will be a diploma supplement, which will list the conditions of the master school in general and whatever weird combination you might have taken. So the partner universities will be mentioned, and what kind of technical major you took and what's the content of that major. But the degree certificate will be a Master of Science in ICT Innovation. And it might be different at your entry university.
I have a question, Nina. Is it mandatory that like we write our thesis at our internship company, or we can like do it separately?
In an ideal world, it will all be combined, but currently we are experiencing that it's not working out for everyone. So we have people who are doing their internship and they can use whatever they are doing there to write their thesis, but this didn't work out in all cases. In some cases, the students didn't like what they learned in the internship, or it was top secret because someone is doing the internship at the German aerospace institution, and they have some high confidentiality stuff that they didn't want to be in the thesis. So we are working on improving that for the next year. But in an ideal world, everything should be combined into one. That's just not a common German system. So in Germany, in general, you can just write a master's thesis and you don't have to do an internship at all. For this program, everything is different. So you will have to do an internship.
Yeah, but it is still possible that I do internship separately and write my thesis at the university under some institution.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one more person in the chat, Mustafa El Behri. Hi. Do you have something to ask? Is it?
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry I joined late. I was on a conference, and actually, I think I have two questions. One of them I think already answered before I was here. I don't know if I can ask again about.
Sure.
Okay, so do you think which better to apply for a German visa, or just came to Berlin with my visa for France and apply for the residence permit there?
Should I answer that first before you go to your second question? It depends on you. I'm not even sure that you need a visa. If your residence permit is valid long enough that you can travel on it to Germany, why would you apply for a visa if you don't need it? It just takes extra time and probably money. So you will always have to get the residence permit once you are here.
Actually, it will expire before I arrive to Germany because it will expire in September. I don't know if I can come before leaving Europe because I'm going to my home country in September, at least September. So just for if I can come before in early September or late August and apply for a residence permit there before going to my home country, can I do this, or I have to apply when I arrive at October because of the acceptance letter?
No, you can apply for the residence permit earlier. So if you come in August or September, you can apply for the residence permit immediately if you want to. But you have to. It's very personal. So if you think that traveling to Germany just to apply for the residence permit might be way more expensive than just going to the embassy in Paris and get the German visa. Then it's up to you to decide which would be more hassle.
Actually, they require a lot of documents, and maybe I'll go more than once to Paris. And currently, I'm in internship. I don't have a lot of time to do that. So I think if I just went there, as I could understood from what I got from your answer, that it only takes like 3 days to get the residence permit.
If you are in Berlin, and you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's like 2 days. So you have to go to my office to get a document, and then you go to the people or to the office of the foreigners registration people and spend a day waiting in line, and then you can get it straight away if you have all the documents.
Okay, so just one last question about this. The residence permit is not related to the duration of the study. I mean, I can come in August and I will start study in October and get the residence permit from August to until I finish my study. It's okay?
I think it might be limited in duration to the end of the second semester, which will be the end of September. So since no one knows how long you guys will study, there will be, I think, a 2-semester limit on the residence permit.
Okay, but I can come in early August, for example, and beginning of August, and apply for residence permit there.
Yes, but what I should mention, you have to make sure that you have all the documents you need for the residence permit. So there will be the form you will need to get from my office that will state that you are a second-year student, and this is the intention of the program, that you are in Berlin now. But you will also have to register your Berlin residence first. So there's a difference between residence registration and residence permit. And a residence registration is where you let the German authorities know that you are now living at this address, and all students have to do that, or all people. So Germans have to do that too, and you need that paper from another office which state that you now have a residence in Berlin. And with that and the form from my office, you can go apply for the residence permit. So it might be like a 2-day deal if you're quick.
I need first to find accommodation in Berlin before applying. First,
yes.
Find a place. Oh.
Or let me phrase it that way: you need an address to put on that form. Mm-hmm. And in the best case, it would be your permanent address. And I should advise you to only do that if you have a permanent residence, so you can read between the lines.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Just one question more, because on the long run, I hear that the German law give for the graduates of the German universities something like a blue card or a work permit for 1 year after they finish their study. So I want to know if the 1 year of the second year of my master's degree could be considered as a degree from German university.
Yeah, you will get a full degree from a German university. There's no difference. So it's a full master degree from TU Berlin. But if you have like really detailed questions about visa or residence permit stuff, like work permits, I cannot answer that.
Okay.
And I think you just mentioned that it's 1 year. Other students have told me that it's 18 months to find the work, looking for work residence permit thing.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But currently, I don't have any experience with that because our students are still on student status. So I might be able to update that or have more information at the end of the year.
Okay. Just because I want to apply for accommodation, if I will apply for residence permit, should I do this now, or just, I mean, like, because you said that we have to wait for the visa before applying for the accommodation or the acceptance letter? So should I do this now, from now, to apply for accommodation in Berlin, or just wait till I get the visa or residence permit to apply?
Now you have to make sure that you understand what I actually wrote. So you will have to have the local letter of admission plus proof that I paid the local fees to apply for a room in the dorms. So, and I haven't paid the local fees yet because the university hasn't figured out yet how much they will charge. So I have to wait for the final decision to pay the fees. And once I have paid the fees, you can use that to apply for a dorm. But that is totally independent from applying for a visa or a residence permit. Even if you apply for a dorm and they will offer you one, you will have to sign a contract, and that most likely won't be before August or September. And if you want to find a room on your own, you don't need to wait for anything. You can do that straight away.
Okay. Just to close this, I have friends living in Berlin. Can I come in early August and take their address, apply for this permit, and then change it? Or this will make problem later, because he said most probably should be permanent address.
What do you expect me to say if this is put somewhere on the internet?
Yes, I'm just trying to avoid the hassle of going to the embassy, because I have to go to Paris many times. So I'm just trying to avoid that.
So the official answer is you should use your permanent address.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Nina.
If you think you will live permanently at your friend's house, no one will be able to check if that is true.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Nina.
Nina, is there any specific time, like you have to get so many credits from TUB to start the thesis, or we can, like, if we find a project in the beginning of our course, second year there, we can start off with our thesis?
You can technically do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. So our professors believe that you only write your thesis once you have registered it. So from the day you register for the thesis, you have 6 months. Okay. And I wouldn't really recommend doing that in the winter semester, where you still have to take classes. Yeah. Or if you're a Superman and you never sleep, you can do that, but probably not a good idea. You can still work and try to find a topic to write on earlier than officially registering, but it depends on the professor if they are cool with that. Some believe that it is like cheating if you already start earlier and then like register on the 1st of May and try to hand it in on the 2nd of May.
Okay. And also about accommodation, it's like, is there any possibility that you can extend the accommodation after this possible? Like if you are in Sweden, you have a 6 months time when you can extend it. So is something like that available in Berlin also?
You mean at the dorms?
Yeah. Once you have finished your course, also you can extend it here for 6 months. But is it like the same in Berlin, or you have to move out immediately after your student life is over?
I don't know. We would have to check the rental contract once someone has one in their hands. Mm-hmm. I think with every start of the semester, you have to show them proof that you are enrolled. Okay. And then they will ask for it again after 6 months.
Okay.
So again, since it is posted somewhere on the internet, I'm a little hesitant to what I should say on this.
Okay.
So let's just believe that you will technically be done with your thesis at the end of September. Mm-hmm. But you could still be enrolled for the winter semester, which starts on October 1st. But if you do that, you will have to pay the local student fees yourself. Okay. And they are currently €285 a month. And most of that is for the public transport ticket. So you could pay, it might be €300 by next year. You could pay that money to stay a student.
Nina, can you give an estimate, when will be the local fee will be paid so that we can apply for the accommodation?
I have no clue, because I have to wait till they decide on how much I need to pay for you guys. So currently, no one knows, and which also means that no one has paid. And you have already been admitted for the winter semester 3 months before everyone else. So I know that no one believes me if I tell you that you shouldn't worry, but seriously, you shouldn't. I might be able to pay it by the beginning of next week, but I'm dependent on these other people who need to determine how much money it will cost.
I want to ask another question regarding that residence permit issue. The thing is, I will finish my summer school on 8th August. So I want to go to Berlin after that, and I will manage an accommodation in Berlin by myself, and then I want to apply for the residence permit directly. and after getting the dorm, I will change my permanent address. Is it possible?
Yeah, that's fine. You have to register your permanent address with the residence registration form, and you can change that later. And the German law requires you to always re-register a new address once you move. And if you don't do that, they might charge you a fee of 20 euro. But especially in cases of non-EU people, it would be highly important that they have your current address on file, so there won't be any problems if you in the future if you want to stay here for other reasons.
Thank you. Okay, so any more questions?
I have.
You have something?
No, okay, go ahead.
No, like here we have this co-location center open for all students of EIT. Is that the same case in Berlin also, or?
Yeah, I can show you. This is part of the co-location center.
Okay. No, is that open for the students, or is it just for you people?
I think people already told you that, wait, I have to move the camera. People already told you that the Berlin co-location center is a little different than the others. So the one in Berlin is more business related. So they're really, you will not find the really nice area, the co-location center in Stockholm offers the students. So we have a general open area in the front, and there are like 15 little box chairs that you can sit on, and there's the coffee machine that everyone knows, but there won't be working space that you can permanently use like everyone is doing at KTH. So you will have to, most of the time you will have to just find room to work somewhere on campus. But the co-location center is open for you to, if you want to reserve a room, you can do that, but you have to use their reservation system.
Okay.
So we don't have any more questions, right?
And one more guy is there online, so.
Francisco.
I don't think so. Francisco will be coming because he is an European and he does read all the documents he sent me in Facebook.
Okay. Okay.
One thing, one more question, because I've seen some friends who have been in this situation. If they have a back subject, like they have failed a subject in the first year and they're coming to TU Berlin and they're taking a subject in the second year, do they have to finish the subject before they go to the master thesis?
Wait, they failed one in the entry and they are retaking the exam here? Or are they retaking the whole class?
No, actually what they try to do is they can take an exam online, or the exam will be sent to them to the exit university. That's a facility done by the KTH, I think. So what happens is that they will be taking it in the second year. So is there any condition that they need to finish their subjects of 90 credits before they move on to master thesis?
No, at TU Berlin, you could, if you wanted to, start your thesis on day one of the first year. So we don't require people to have finished their credits before they start the thesis, but that might be just TU Berlin. It might not apply to other universities. And from the master school perspective, the exit university dictates the rules for the master thesis. So if we say you can just start, even though you might not have all credits, that would be fine. But we can only give you a degree certificate if you then have all the credits.
Okay.
One question, Nina. Is there a fixed duration to complete the thesis?
Yeah, it's 6 months.
Okay. And
but it's flexible when you start the 6 months. So it's on the student's responsibility to go and register for the thesis. And from the day you register, it's 6 months.
And any possibility of extension, provided I don't finish within that time?
Only severe reasons. So if you, I don't know, if you break your hands and you can't type anymore, you will have you can get a doctor's note. And it can be extended for up to 3 months. But besides severe reasons like that, there's nothing that that would change the 6 months. So it's 6 months for everyone. So it can only be extended for severe illnesses, or if your work relies on a technical part and the part breaks. Wait, I can hear me double.
Yes, I'm also using the same.
We are hearing you fine.
Okay, but if your work relies on some technical stuff and that stuff breaks and it cannot be repaired for 3 months or something like that, then the time can be extended. But usually for IT people, that's not really the case, that you're working on giant machines that can never be repaired.
So I have a question about the courses. I have seen the courses of the first year and second year, and I saw that some courses of the first year impressed me. So can I take from the first year courses instead of second year elective courses?
It seems that you might not have seen the latest version of the course catalog. So there will be mandatory classes that you will have to take in the second year, and then there's a list of electives that you can choose from. And for the electives, we don't differentiate between the second year and the first year. I'll try to find that document on Yaman. I think I can post it somewhere.
Okay.
But I'm not sure which technical major you're studying, but you are only allowed to take classes from that technical major. So you cannot just take security and privacy classes because you like them. You can only take ITA classes if you are an ITA student.
Yeah. For example, in second year in Berlin, you have all the courses are elective. Yeah.
So what's your major again?
ITA.
Let me just double check that this is true. So I posted the link to the document. Yeah, it's true. It's 24 credits worth electives, and you would have to choose these 24 credits from the list of electives that is hiding behind the link I just entered into the document.
Yeah, did you just say that if I am from ITA, I can take the security courses?
Yes, you can only take the classes that are on the curriculum for ITA.
And Nina, about medical insurance and all, actually, although we have a medical insurance in Sweden, we couldn't really use it because we have a Swedish postal number and we just go to any hospital, we are treated just like a Swedish citizen. So we pay from our pocket for some amount and then the rest of it is paid by the Swedish government insurance. And we couldn't claim that particular amount which we paid in the hospital also. Is it the same in Germany, or it's like
no,
all of it is paid back to you?
No, you will have to use the Kammer Kollegiate insurance. There's no special public, what is that, the personal ID number? We don't have anything like that.
Okay.
So you will be insured like a private insurance thing. So if you go to the doctor, you will always have to pay first and then be reimbursed through the Swedish office. But for insurance questions, you might just go over and knock on Helena's door. She can explain in more detail how that would work. But we will count you as a privately insured person, which always means you have to pay. Or you can choose to be insured through German public health insurance, but you would have to pay the fees on your own, and I think it's €75 a month.
Okay.
Susie, you don't have any questions, right?
No.
Okay. Because it's already time, like it's already 4:50.
Now that we don't want him to take away our internships, he doesn't have any questions.
Okay, then we can wind up. Thank you so much, Nina.
Yeah,
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye. Wait, I can wait like that.
Okay.